In the heart of a bustling metropolis where the hum of city life never seemed to quiet down, there stood a gym that many considered a second home. Brightly lit and filled with the clanking sounds of weights and the rhythmic hum of treadmills, it was a space where people of all walks of life came together to pursue their fitness goals. The gym was known for its diverse clientele, but like any place, it had its regulars and its troublemakers. Amara Johnson had been coming to this gym for months. She was a woman of focus, discipline, and quiet determination. At first glance, her demeanor didn't draw attention. She preferred to keep to herself. Yet, there was something magnetic about her presence. What most didn't know was that Amara was an Air Force officer, a fact she kept to herself. To her, the gym was a place to unwind, not to boast about her accomplishments. That day, Amara walked in with her usual routine in mind. She was dressed simply, a dark hoodie, sweatpants and sneakers. Her braided hair was tied back neatly, and she carried a gym bag over one shoulder. As she entered, she nodded to the front desk attendant, a friendly young woman named Elena, who always greeted her with a smile. "Good morning, Amara. Ready to crush it today?" Elena asked. Amara chuckled softly. "Always." Meanwhile, across the gym, Greg Thompson was gearing up for his own workout. Greg was a tall, broad-shouldered man in his early 30s. He had a loud, brash personality that often rubbed people the wrong way. Known for his unsolicited advice and arrogant attitude, Greg was the kind of person who saw the gym as his personal domain. As Amara began her warm-up, Greg spotted her from across the room. He frowned, watching her with a critical eye. Something about her calm confidence seemed to irk him. He leaned over to his friend, a fellow gym-goer named Mike. "Look at her," Greg muttered, nodding toward Amara. "She's got no business in the weight section. Probably doesn't even know what she's doing." Mike glanced over and shrugged. "Leave her alone, man. She's not bothering anyone." But Greg wasn't one to let things go. As Amara moved to the free weights and began her first set of deadlifts, Greg sauntered over, his ego leading the way. "You sure you... What would you do if you were Amara? Share your thoughts in the comments. Know how to use those?" he asked, his tone dripping with condescension. Amara paused mid-lift and looked at him calmly. "I think I've got it, thanks." Greg smirked, crossing his arms. "Well, maybe you should stick to something lighter. Wouldn't want you to hurt yourself." A few people nearby turned their heads, sensing the tension. Amara set the barbell down with control and stood upright, meeting Greg's gaze. Her expression was unreadable, but there was a quiet strength in her eyes. "I appreciate your concern," she said evenly, "but I'm fine." Greg wasn't used to being dismissed so easily. He chuckled, shaking his head. "Sure you are. I'm just saying, this isn't exactly beginner territory." At this point, a small crowd had gathered, pretending to focus on their workouts but clearly listening in. Amara sighed inwardly. She had come here to exercise, not to engage in a battle of egos. Still, she knew when to stand her ground. "Look," she said, her voice steady but firm, "I didn't come here to be lectured. I came here to work out, just like everyone else. So, if you don't mind, I'd like to get back to it." Greg's smirk faltered slightly, but his pride wouldn't let him back down. All right," he said, raising his hands in mock surrender. "Don't get all defensive, just trying to help." Amara ignored him and returned to her set, but Greg wasn't done. Over the next 15 minutes, he continued to hover nearby, making snide comments under his breath. "Probably doesn't even lift properly," he muttered loudly enough for others to hear. Amara remained composed, though her patience was wearing thin. She had dealt with worse situations before, much worse, but that didn't make this any less frustrating. Finally, another gym member, a young man named Jason, decided to intervene. "Hey, Greg," Jason called out, "maybe you should focus on your own workout and leave her alone." Greg turned to Jason, his ego flaring. "What's it to you?" It's to all of us, Jason replied. We're here to work out, not to listen to you harass people. A murmur of agreement rippled through the gym. Emboldened by the support, Jason added, Seriously, man, just back off. Greg scoffed, but finally retreated to another section of the gym. Amara glanced at Jason and gave him a small nod of gratitude before continuing her workout. But Greg wasn't done yet. As Amara moved to the bench press, he returned, standing nearby with a smug grin. You're pretty bold for someone who clearly doesn't belong here, he said. Amara set the barbell down and sat up, her patience finally reaching its limit. You don't know anything about me, she said, her voice calm but laced with steel. And frankly, your opinion means nothing. Greg laughed. Oh, really? And what makes you so special? Amara reached into her gym bag and pulled out her phone. She opened a photo of herself in uniform, standing beside an Air Force jet. She turned the screen toward Greg. This, she said simply. I'm an Air Force officer. I've served this country with honor and dedication. So, the next time you think about judging someone, maybe consider that you have no idea who they are or what they're capable of. The gym fell silent. Greg stared at the photo, his face flushing with embarrassment. He opened his mouth to respond, but couldn't find the words. I didn't know, he stammered. You didn't care to know, Amara replied. And that's the problem. The crowd erupted into applause, their admiration for Amara evident. Greg muttered an apology and quickly left the gym, his arrogance deflated. As the onlookers surrounded Amara, offering words of support and gratitude, she smiled humbly. I didn't do anything special, she said. I just stood up for myself. And I hope next time we all do the same for each other. That day, Amara's courage and dignity left an indelible mark on everyone who witnessed the incident. The story spread quickly, serving as a powerful reminder of the strength that lies in humility and the importance of standing up against prejudice. Share your thought in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to my channel. I pour my heart into crafting stories like this for you, and your support is the one helps me keep going. I appreciate having you on this journey,